AITA for leaving my husband after I found out the girl he claimed was his cousin is actually his daughter. I have been married to my husband for 10 years. Early in our marriage, he told me a touching story about his late uncle, a man who helped him during a difficult time in his life back home. He said the uncle and his wife had both passed away and left behind a daughter with no one to care for her. He said he wanted to honor his uncle by taking care of her, but she was still in our home country. We talked about it, and I agreed we should help. We both contributed money to bring her to the U.S., helped her settle in, and made her part of our household. She's been with us for several years now. She always called him uncle and referred to me as auntie, and I treated her like she was family. I even started seeing her like a daughter. Now, fast forward to a couple of weeks ago, I got sick, and she went to pick up some medication for me. While she was out, her phone kept ringing over and over again. I eventually picked it up because I thought it might be important. It was a woman on the other end. She asked for the girl, and when I told her she wasn't around, she said something that knocked the breath out of me. She asked about her daughter and mentioned my husband by name, saying he was the father. Then she threatened that if he didn't allow her to see her daughter, she would involve the police. I was stunned. When the girl came back, I asked her directly who her father was. She hesitated, then told me the truth. My husband is her biological father. I felt sick. All this time, he let me believe she was his cousin's child. He let me open my heart and home to her under false pretenses. He had a whole child before we got married and never told me. He didn't even come clean when she moved in. I had to find out by accident. Through her mother, no less. When I confronted him, he tried to defend it by saying he thought I'd leave him if I knew the truth. He said he just wanted to be close to his daughter without complicating things. But to me, the lie is the complication. It's the betrayal that hurts the most. He robbed me of my right to choose whether I wanted to be part of this situation. And I can't stay with someone I can't trust anymore. So I left. I packed up and left the house. Now I'm getting calls from his family saying I overreacted, that I'm breaking the home, that he did it for love. Some have even said I was cruel to abandon the girl who sees me as her mother figure. AITA for telling my wife to shut up and let our daughter do what she wants after she came out to us. Advice needed. Forgive me if the format of this is off. I only come here because my younger sister says that Reddit might be able to figure this one out for me. I, 39M, have been married to my college sweetheart, 38F, for almost 15 years now. We have a daughter, 15F, whom I have been extremely close with since she was very little. I have told her on multiple occasions that I would do anything for her. She had just come out as bisexual to my wife and I a few nights ago, and my wife went batshit crazy. She started cursing her out, telling her how much of a disappointment she was to her, how embarrassing it is to have for a child, and how she'd disown her out if she ever brought a girl home. This was extremely infuriating to me, but honestly, more shocking than anything. My wife has a very strong religious background, being the daughter of a pastor. But I didn't expect her to just go completely ape shit on our daughter. I was only expecting a little stern talking to, but not that extreme. I have similar beliefs to my wife, but they're not so strong to the point where I would disown my own child because of them. I don't have the best relationship with my parents because when I was my daughter's age, I got into some legal trouble from simply hanging out with the wrong people. I spent 9 months in a juvenile detention center and was sent to live with my grandparents because my parents didn't want anything to do with me. That sent me into a deep and dark spiral of depression and feelings of being unworthy. So I vowed to myself that if I have children, I would never walk out on them no matter what they do. I fully support all of my children in everything they do and do my best to guide and direct them based on my own personal experiences. I spoke with my wife about it and asked if she thinks she could have handled that differently, to which she replied, "If it gets the message across that she's going to hell if she wants to sleep with a girl, then no." She then goes on to say that no daughter or child of mine is going to grow up into and embarrass her entire family. This only pissed me off more, and here is where I might end up being an AH. I told her to shut the hell up and let our daughter do what she wants to do. My wife then started screaming at me and practically blaming me for raising a sinful little and because she takes after her father, and that she wouldn't hesitate to file for divorce if I supported my daughter's lifestyle. I dared her to, and now I haven't spoken with her for the past few days. So now I'm debating if this marriage has run its course on this one argument alone. I love my wife, but I most certainly won't choose her over my daughter in this situation, so I'll leave it up to Reddit. Am I being the AH here for taking my daughter's side and telling my wife to shut the hell up about it? Edit. I just want to add this here for some context to a bunch of the comments that I've read. Yes, I share beliefs in the fact that homosexuality is a sin, but there are so many other things that are sin too. Lying, stealing, cheating, sex before marriage. My daughter was conceived to sex before marriage. Having a child out of wedlock, my daughter was born a few months before our wedding. I don't think that one sin outweighs the other, but I'm just calling a spade a spade. Sin equals sin. But because I'm no saint, I'm no perfect person, by no means. I've made mistakes, I've done wrong, and will continue to do wrong for as long as I live. I will continue to sin and fall short no matter how hard I try not to. I'm not going to be a hypocrite and disown my daughter just because she's done wrong, because at the end of the day, I'm no better than her. Also, I wholeheartedly believe that homosexuality is not a choice. People don't wake up one day and suddenly decide to be attracted to the same gender. My daughter didn't choose to like girls, no more than I chose to be white. She likes what she likes, and there is absolutely no fault in that. I did in fact speak with my daughter, and as you can imagine, she was distraught and in disbelief. There was definitely some guilt on my end for not stepping in sooner and speaking on her behalf, to which I apologized for. Her mother was completely out of line and ignorant. I have been reminding my daughter that I love and support her and will stand 10 toes down behind her. She has not spoken to her mom and has voiced to me that she probably won't unless her mom apologizes to her. I honestly don't see that apology coming anytime soon. And lastly, I did in fact say more than just that. But the gist was that I told her to shut the hell up. I could make an entirely separate post for what I said to her exactly. Thanks for all the comments and messages. I was just looking for some reassurance that I'm not crazy for being upset with my wife, or soon-to-be ex-wife. AITA for not defending my son when a random man beat up him and his friends. My 16-year-old son has always been a decent kid, honor roll student, volunteered at school events, close with his grandparents, and never gave us real trouble. My wife and I, and his grandparents, have definitely spoiled him over the years, but he was always respectful and kind until this school year. This year, everything changed. He fell in with a group of kids from the football and wrestling teams who have a reputation for being loud, disrespectful, and just generally bad news. Since then, his grades have dropped, his attitude has gone downhill, and he stopped spending time with family. A few months ago, he and those same friends trashed a movie theater just for laughs. I grounded him hard. No phone, no games, no extracurriculars. I also told him he wasn't allowed to hang out with those boys anymore. I even spoke with a few of their parents, and we all agreed to keep the boys apart. It was handled calmly, with mutual understanding. Today took things to a whole new level. He had a doctor's appointment in the middle of the school day, so I let him stay home. Afterward, I dropped him off and went to work. At some point in the afternoon, he snuck out and met up with those same friends. They ended up loitering in front of a TJ Maxx, bothering customers going in and out. An elderly employee, Miss Purley, who's in her 70s and has worked there forever, came outside holding some hangers and politely asked the boys to leave if they weren't shopping. One of the kids, already filming, started mocking her on camera. My son joined in, booing and saying, "Relax, nobody's getting hurt and you're ruining the fun." When she pulled out her walkie-talkie to call security, one of the boys slapped it from her hand. Then my son tried to yank the clothes from her grip. She didn't let go, and in the struggle, she lost her balance and fell backward to the ground. They all laughed. One of them said, "You faking now, huh? Trying to play victim." A bystander came up and asked, "Did you just push that old lady?" The boys immediately denied it, claiming she was acting. Without another word, the man punched my son and two of his friends. The others ran off. The phone filming hit the ground, but you can still hear the fight sounds like the man landed a few more hits before backing off. My son called me and I rushed to the scene. The man was still there, calm, arms crossed. I asked if he'd hit my son and he said, "I sure as hell did." "Are you the father of the boy who thinks bullying an old woman is funny? What kind of man are you raising?" I was furious, but not at him. After speaking with witnesses and watching the video, I was disgusted by what I saw. And then the police arrived. Since I was the only parent who showed up, my son was arrested on the spot. The other boys were picked up from their homes later that day. They're all currently in jail. When I got home, my wife lost it. She accused me of letting our son get beat and arrested like he was some criminal. Her sister called me a pathetic excuse for a father. And even my own mother told me I should have defended him no matter what. But after what I saw in that video, I couldn't bring myself to shield him from the consequences. He knew better. He's had warning after warning. It's like they care more about my son getting his karma for a bad thing he did, rather than him taunting and bruising an elderly woman. I sat there with them yelling at me, but their voices felt like static. It was like I wasn't even in the room anymore, just stuck in my own head, trying to make sense of everything. I got up without saying a word and walked out the back door, locked myself in the shed and just sat there. I needed a moment alone to breathe, to process, to try and register what the hell just happened and what it all means. Because right now, I don't know how to feel as a father. A big part of me feels like I've failed. Not just in the my kid messed up way, but in a deep, gut-level way that makes me question whether I've completely lost my son. Like, there's no coming back from this. AITA Reddit? For not defending him, for being a bad father? I just don't know where I went wrong as a man and father.